Christa Jacobson, headmistress of the Budo Ninjutsu DOJO, and today we're going to be talking about colors in Budo and their specific meaning. Now, I want to say that this can be some form of an open conversation or an argument between different schools, because different schools teach different things and different meanings, just like in religion, different symbols, different colors, different things mean certain things. And so people tend to want to argue about what this means and what that means and all that kind of stuff. I find it to be very irrelevant, and I think it's, if you learn it one way and you believe it to be true, then it works for you. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk about colors in Budo and the meaning of those colors within the Budo Ninjutsu Dojo. I want to start off by saying that I made a video back a while back called Candle Magic, which I talked about just the basic idea of why there is a ceremonial process within a dojo, and we talked about candles, and we talked about why we do what we do from a ritual perspective inside a Japanese dojo. That could make people feel a little awkward, or they could disagree with me, but I was just explaining it the way that I was taught and the way that I teach my students. So again, I want you guys to understand, when I make these videos, I'm making the videos specific for the Budo Ryu. Martial arts is similar to religion in the fact that we are going to protect what we love. Okay, and with that sense of protection, with that sense of connection to a higher level of maybe spiritual connection, or a higher feeling, that purpose, okay, purpose of life, a meaning to it, there are going to be certain things that are used that have symbolic meaning to them. And like I said, you see this in churches, you see this in temples, you see this in shrines, you see this in dojos, and so forth and so on. So like an example, within the typical modern martial arts school, there is a belt promotion. As you get a belt, each belt is a different color. Some people use that color represents an animal, which represents a meaning, and sometimes the colors are just, you're a yellow belt, and sometimes those belts actually have a specific meaning or a purpose to them within the training, which in our school, that holds true. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. What are the meanings of the colors within Budo? Now, before I get into that, I want to say that I did a quick little search regarding colors within Buddhism and other forms of Japanese religion or Japanese spiritual practices, and I will say that what we do doesn't necessarily align with that. Okay, so if you guys take the same meaning and you say, well, wait a minute, in Buddhism they say this color means this, or in this particular faith it says this color means this, that is probably true. Okay, what we do is what we do, and it's the way that I learned, it's the way I believe, and since I'm the one that created the Budo Ryu, and I'm the one that's sharing my martial practice and my journey with my students, I can only teach it the way I learned it and the way that I see it. So I do understand that there will be people that disagree with me, and that is fine. When you start out as a student, you start as white belt. And white belt means innocence, it means purity, it means without anything. Now, I think that without anything, that means without the art, without Budo, without the knowledge of what we have. One thing that I think you guys need to really focus on is, as you start out with a white belt, the belts will have a darker color as you go up. That darker color is symbolic to the more knowledge that you acquire. The more knowledge you acquire, the more that you've taken in, the darker that color will get as you go through the belt ranks, from white belt all the way to black belt. The next thing I want you guys to understand is each of the colors do have a specific meaning towards the practice. So at white belt, yes, it means purity, it means innocence, it means without knowledge. And it doesn't mean without knowledge. Of course you have knowledge, you're a person. But I mean, it means without the knowledge of what we do. You're innocent. And you're starting your journey to acquire knowledge within the martial arts. The second belt that you guys will acquire is a yellow belt. Now, a yellow belt means learning and intellect. So once you acquire your very first belt, you learn the basics of the Budo Ryu. You learn how to bow into the dojo. You learn how to do some of the Kihon Was and the basic fighting techniques that we do. You learn various kata, and you learn different drills. You're starting to get a little educated in what we do. So yellow itself, when you see yellow within the dojo, yellow tends to mean learning, or tends to mean intellect. I want to say that these colors match everything that we do. So when we do meditative training, when we practice meditation, when we practice Seshi Teki Kyoyo, when we practice specific things, these colors will also not only reflect the meaning of the belt system, but it also reflects the meaning with everything that we do. So when we light specific candles, the color of the candle has a specific meaning and why we practice a certain way. So again, if you guys are students, please write these things down. The next belt that you guys are going to have is orange belt. And orange belt means changing, you're trying to change your luck, change the direction in a much positive manner. If you only had one word to describe orange belt, it would be encouragement. So you're encouraging yourself to continue to keep pushing yourself forward. So unlike the last level where you're really focused on learning something, now it's getting a little bit physical in your training. You're starting to learn things that are a lot more physical. You're being asked to do things that are a lot more physical, but you want to encourage yourself to keep moving forward. Purple belt, which is the next level, okay? And this means ambition. It means empowerment, okay? When you hit this level, you're starting to learn in our curriculum. There's going to be a lot of nage-waza, a lot of henko-waza that you're going to be learning. Sparring tends to happen at this level. And once you get to this level, there's going to be that ambition. You're going to want to drive yourself to be better. You're going to have that sense of self-empowerment. You're going to have to look within and find the strength to overcome and to be able to do the things that we ask you to do. Purple also means honor. Okay, so when we do other things regarding training, purple, and you guys might want to write this down, okay? Purple also has a tendency to have the meaning of honor. And that's important to know now, but you'll need to know it later, but go ahead and write that down now. The next level is blue belt, and blue tends to be intuition. It means to combat depression, okay? So combat depression, combat insecurity. That's what that blue means. So when you think about this combat depression or to combat anxiety or to combat insecurities, what do we see in our daily life that has blue in it? Well, we see Twitter. Twitter is blue. We see Facebook, it's blue. And Twitter and Facebook, for the most of us, I think we can all agree that it gives us some sense of happiness. It gives us some sense of joy in our life. And blue, the color, means to combat depression or to combat an insecurity. Green belt, which is the next belt, it means growth. And I know you think green, right? Green also means fertility, by the way, but that's usually in the spiritual world. We're going to get away from that. In the martial arts sense, and what we do in the dojo, it means growth. Okay, and if you think about trees and shrubs and bushes and everything we see in nature, there's a constant growth, and you see the grass is green and the trees have green leaves, and that green belt means you're starting to grow. You're starting to actually grow into a strong Budaka. Now, green belt in our particular system is halfway to black belt. So you start wearing the black gi. At this point, you could start wearing a black gi. Before that is a white gi, and you have the green belt, and it means growth. That growth, as a martial artist, when you wear the belt in the dojo through training, is different than what growth means when we use that same color in candles and things like that in Seshi Teki Kyoyo. However, I want to tell all my students who are watching this, make sure you understand whatever I say it is for the belt, it also means the same thing in other areas of Budo, such as Seshi Teki Kyoyo, and so forth and so forth. Red belt means physical pleasure, okay? It means pleasure. It means there's a want to. There's a want to have. Now, I know you guys know me and my personality, and you think, oh, red means lust, it means sex, it means da-da-da. And all that may be fine and good, but that's not what it means inside the dojo, and that's not what it means in our practice. Obviously, with red, people buy red roses because they love people. When you buy little hearts for people on Valentine's Day, they're typically red. When you see that sexy woman in the movies, she always has red lips, you know, really, really red prominent lips. So red does give us the feeling of love. It gives us the feeling of lust. It gives us the feeling of sex and all that kind of stuff. And at this point in your training, you should have, let's get away from the sex thing, you should have, once you're a red belt, there should be a physical pleasure. You should actually want to train in the dojo. Not just because it makes you feel good mentally. Your body, you want the training. You want to come in and you want to compete. You're a red belt now. You want to compete. You want to spar. You want to grapple. You want to do the kumite matches. You want to lift the weights. You literally have a physical want, a physical pleasure by training. Now, brown belt levels, okay, the brown belt is, in our school, we have 3 browns. We have first degree brown, second degree brown, third degree brown, and then black belt. So there's 3 levels of brown, okay? Now, brown itself gives us 3 specific feelings of emotion, okay? And that's confidence, that's security, okay? And that's respect. And when you're at brown belt level, you should be very confident as a martial artist. You should be confident with your skills, okay? You should be very secure with yourself as a martial artist. You should be secure in who you are as a person, and you should also have a little bit of respect for who you are and the people around you. So once you hit brown belt level, you should be there. You never lose the feeling you have. Once you're a brown belt, keep in mind, when you guys are a brown belt, you have to go back and pass each level all the way up. We don't just pass a level and forget it. Everyone knows that the Budo Ninjutsu Dojo, if you're going to test for black belt, you got to show me your yellow belt moves, your orange belt moves, your purple belt, your blue belt, your green belt, your red belt, your first, second, third, brown. You got to show me all this stuff, and now show me your black belt material. And when we do this, that means you can't lose that emotion. You can't lose that innocence. You can't lose the willingness to learn. You can't lose the fact that you're trying to give yourself the encouragement to want to be better. You can't lose that ambition. You can't lose that combat of depression or trying to make yourself better. You can't lose that desire of the physical pleasure you get with the martial arts. Just the same, when you guys hit brown belt, you're going to have that respect. You're going to have that discipline. You're going to have that honor. You're going to have this security within your training and as a person. And you're going to want to keep moving forward. And that's what brown means within our dojo and our practice. Now, black belt, okay, now the color black. And I've mentioned this in a video that I made called Mr. Chapin's Wood. I know it's funny. You go back and watch it if you like. It's a wonderful video, actually. Black, what that means is combat negativity. It means to combat hate. It means to fight against hate. It means to fight against negativity, okay? That's why when you wear a black belt, what does that mean? That when you have a black belt, that means you should be able to fight against hate. You should be able to fight against negativity. You should be able to combat fear. That's what that means. And that color black, okay? That's what it means. Again, you started at a white belt. The colors got darker, darker, darker as you go through each level. And as you go through each level, okay, it's got darker because you've gathered more knowledge. You've learned something. You've overcome things. You have ambition. You have drive. You have discipline. You have physical pleasure. You have respect. You have honor. You have all these things that you've acquired along the way, and now you're finally a black belt. At that point, you can then continue that path and gain more knowledge and become a second degree, a third degree, a fourth degree, and so on and so forth. I know that this video, people are going to watch this video and they're going to be like, oh my God, Christa's crazy, you know, and next she's going to make a video over chakra and how chakra is related to the dojo, and I probably will, because we do chakras. We practice chakra, we practice meditation, and there are colors that mean things in that, and there are breathing patterns that mean things in that, and I honestly believe that we practice martial arts not to hurt people. We practice martial arts to protect us and to protect the ones that we love. And that's why I developed the Budo Do, and that's why I'm teaching it openly to you guys. So if any of you guys are watching this video for the first time and you don't know who I am, please check out the website at budodonijutsu.com. If you guys are nowhere near a Budo Do dojo and you would like to train in our methods, please go to our website at budodonijutsu.com and click where it says Online University. You guys can train with us in the privacy of your own home. We have a complete online program where you guys can study there. We have lots of training groups in damn near every one of the states, continental United States, where people get together and they train. If this is something that you want to do, you only live once. And if you start today, you know, you get your result one day sooner than if you start tomorrow. So, yeah, I hope you guys learned something about the colors inside the dojo and the meaning of those colors. Please keep in mind that meaning is not just set to the belt system, it's also set to other things that we do regarding ceremonial things we do in the dojo, seshi, teki, kyoyo, so on and so forth. Thank you guys very much for all your love and support. I do appreciate it. I truly do. Till next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey of Budo. Bye.